I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't, no, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That is
and
the
getting their
best
hair done.
shit fucking
Shopping for
ever.
dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that like playing with the cute.
Shout out to Cherry for just being easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys.
Karen left the waterfall after Fairview
Woo! Good evening, people. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness. I hope everybody's doing well. And yes, Aaron, I have the longest intro on YouTube. Aaron, just so you know. So now there's a purpose behind that, okay, folks? Like the whole purpose. See, that's what's it's interesting because there are those who complain about it because they're only thinking about themselves and going, oh my God, how long do I have to wait for this shit to start? And then you have the people who understand that I'm going to go over stuff that people are interested in hearing about, things that people already know about, things that people don't know about but want to hear about, and they don't want to miss anything. So I give people a chance to enter the chat before I actually start the actual show. Those of you who are whining about it, now you know. Which is why I do it. Okay. Just in case you get here late. You understand? It's not all about you, Ron. It's not all about you. Okay. So yeah, exactly. A chance to take a poo or, fucking build a log cabin, whatever the fuck you want to do, bro. You got time to, you know what I mean? Aaron, you can paint your nails, you can give D&E Pizza a bad review. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could be doing during the intro, my friend. You're not going to die. It'll be okay. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here too, Aaron. So I'm also streaming on Twitter again, which I'm really happy about. I said fuck it, because I mean I was streaming on Twitter before just fine, and then I guess like you can only do that so much until they make you like get verified, and you have to pay for that shit. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna pay for that garbage. Well, if I'm gonna pay for that garbage, I'm gonna become more of that garbage. So I went ahead and I paid for it, and now you guys have to deal with long fucking winded fucking Plevin tweets from me. Now that's gonna happen. Not that they're gonna be about Plevin, just Plevin-esque long tweets is what I'll be engaging in, folks. Because I'm gonna get my fucking money's worth, by the way. I'll be writing goddamn essays. I'm gonna write my book via Twitter, bro. That's what I'm gonna do. Via Twitter, people. I'm gonna write a goddamn book.
I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Chloe Albert's Revenge. Thank you so much. I find myself mindlessly singing, I think we got a super chat at random times of the day. So thanks for that. You're very welcome. You know what's funny is that doesn't happen to me ever. Like ever. Don't even think about it. So you're welcome. No, the stuff that goes through my head is I want the pound of me, not being the mound of banana in my mail. I want to stay no more, no me, no no. Fuck yeah, bro. Jack Johnson all day, people. All day. Okay. So listen, people. There's been some weird developments. Now, I haven't even gone over this. I waited. And I feel bad because like I avoided other channels that I like to watch who went over this because I don't know what I'm going to be looking at. And luckily, like I didn't go live about this yesterday because I had another previous engagement. I I was a guest on Kevin Keen's podcast. And fuck, god damn it, I can't remember the name of this podcast. I'm such a dick. I'm terrible at this shit. I am so terrible at this shit. But it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna share it as soon as it's like edited down or whatever, and it's done, then he'll send me the link and then I'll share it so that you all can listen to it. But you guys see Kevin Keen in the chat quite a bit. And he's a really, really cool dude. And what was really cool about it is I did a podcast with him, his producer Brian, and Chris Loring, who is the performer and writer, composer of the Free Karen Reed song that I play here in the intro, in the trailer, and then I play at the end whenever we're talking all things Karen Reed, John O'Keefe. So the oh my god, and now it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy, the name of the podcast, because I know it's a playoff. I know it's a play on words of the word rock, because it's like a rock and roll podcast, which is like really cool. And I feel like such a dick that I can't fucking remember it because I'm stupid. Remember, people, if there's a moment where you guys have to ask yourself, man, is Will being a fucking asshole? Is he being an inconsiderate piece of shit? Just make sure to also ask yourself, is this one of Will's brain farts and stupid moments? Because I get those a lot. Yes, Hard Rock Life. There it is. That's it. Hard Rock Life. Hard Rock Life. So yeah. That's it. So make sure to check out that podcast. And it's not uploaded yet. The one that I was on is not uploaded yet, and they're locals from that area, but it was really awesome to talk to Kevin and Brian and Chris Loring, who wrote that song. We talked about the case, we talked about music, we talked about life, we talked about inappropriate words. We had a great conversation, and I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to doing it again. They won't. I mean, they can, but they won't. Not really. What happens is when it comes to monetization, it's it's an ad revenue thing. Oh, see, there he is right there. There's Kevin. Link to It's a Hard Rock Life episode will be up soon. Yes. And big shout out to Kevin. He's a really, really cool dude. And I really enjoyed talking with him, and Chris and Brian. I had a really good time. So I look forward to doing it again if possible. Now, because I was doing that yesterday, I did not go live about this, and even that kind of came up in conversation, actually, because they were like, well, what do you think about this and that? Because it was very fresh. And Kevin asked me about it, and I was like, honestly, dude, I haven't even read it yet. I was waiting and saving it until tomorrow, which is today, and we're gonna go over that now. This whatever it is. So I'm totally in the dark. Most of you guys already know what the hell's going on here, but I'm totally in the dark. I've heard here and there things on Twitter, but that's it. But hold on, let me see if I can do this here real quick.
Dude, why am I having such a hard time finding this? Okay. No, that's not it. Are you good, Clubber? Are you good, bro? Like, hello. Dude, I made it a point to click on this so that I can find it quicker. But whatever. All right. I guess it'll be. Oh, wait. All right. Here we go.
We've got some new developments in the wake of the Karen Reed murder trial. Her defense team claims a fifth juror has come forward to say the jury would have voted not guilty on 2 charges Reed was facing. However, there may be no way to verify that for a while. That is because the judge has ordered the names of the people who sat on the bench to stay private indefinitely. Our Kirsten Glavin joins us in Dedham with the reason why. Kirsten.
Well, this juror has now retained a lawyer, and through these documents is expressing fear of harassment, abuse, doxing, and potential violence. The names of all jurors in the Karen Reed murder trial will now be hidden from the public until further notice. Judge Beverly Cannoni extending her impoundment order indefinitely in light of one juror claiming fear for her and her family's safety. It's a move that's uncommon, according to legal analysts.
It's certainly not the first time that that jurors or witnesses in a case have felt threatened. But I haven't seen anything quite like it, at least in Massachusetts before.
The juror, using the pseudonym Juror Doe, writing in an affidavit, "I fear that verbal harassment will likely lead to physical confrontation and physical harm. I am not prepared or equipped to anticipate and prepare for any surprise personal attack. More importantly, I fear that I will not be able to protect myself and my family."
I think the suggestion that there are...
So you know what that tells me is Juror Doe has been spending some time on the internet. That's what that tells me. I mean, I don't know. But it sure as shit sounds like Juror Doe's been spending some time on the internet. This is bizarre. Okay, let me just continue. Let's hear what they're saying here.
Legitimate concerns for the safety and privacy of the jurors is actually legitimate in this case.
Juror Doe citing safety concerns from people on both sides of the issue, but also specifically referencing controversial blogger Aiden Carney, known as Turtle Boy, who's facing witness intimidation charges tied to the case. Meanwhile, Karen Reed's defense team alleging a fifth juror has now come forward, stating a verdict was reached on 2 of the 3 charges Reed is facing. Her attorneys now asking the court to contact those jurors, raising double jeopardy concerns as a potential retrial hangs in the balance.
Right now, as it stands, this case has to be retried, right? And imagine somebody being selected as a potential juror for a retrial, understanding all of this and having a legitimate fear of being on that jury in the first place.
Now, the district attorney's office tells us they do believe the judge made the right call here. We did reach out to the attorney representing Juror Doe. They tell us they're declining to comment any further at this point. Live here in Dedham tonight, I'm Kirsten Glavin. All here. We did reach out to the attorney representing Juror Doe. They tell us they're declining to comment any further at this point.
Well, yeah, dude. Like, you think that... Lady, you think that they're gonna fucking do an interview if they're scared for their lives? Allegedly? I mean,
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Chloe Albert's revenge. Thank you. Defense helps pick the jury. Impounding doesn't stop them from pursuing an inquiry. That just don't they just don't want to be public. I completely agree with you about that. Like, so far I'm not hearing anything that sounds terrible. Now we still have to go over the order, okay? Because when it comes to the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case here, I'm sorry, but I do not trust even the local news sources to to report this accurately. I just don't. I mean, look at the light that they just shined on Turtle Boy here, which is just very, very telling in and of itself. Little Irish Girl, thank you so much. We don't need their names. We need the information. Agreed. I mean, that's, and we don't even need that. A lot of people are gonna disagree with me here, especially Turtle Boy supporters. The thing is I mean, yeah, that's good for Turtle Boy and that's good for his readers, and that's great, to find out more. But when it comes to getting justice for Karen Reed, it's not necessary for us to know anything. Would it be nice? Sure. I'd like to know. I'd like answers, but I don't need them. As far as I'm concerned, they could be fucking anonymous, because I don't have any interest in talking to any of these people. But I find it interesting that one of them went out of their way to get an attorney, or to contact their attorney and have them file this motion. It's interesting. Excuse me. But again, I have not read this yet, but I'm about to go over it. I mean, there's 47 pages of this. So I don't know if I'll go over the entire thing. I mean, if I were an attorney, I might, but I just want to get the gist of what's going on here. But so as you can see, I have it right here. The Commonwealth versus Karen Reed findings and order on Juror Doe's emergency motion to extend July 8th, 2024 impoundment order. Okay. Okay. All right, so it says here, this matter came before the court on the emergency motion of Juror Doe to extend the July 8th, 2024 impoundment order entered by this court. Upon review of the motion and supporting documents, including the affidavit of Juror Doe, the court makes the following findings in order. This case has garnered significant and divisive attention in Massachusetts and across the nation. True. Individuals associated with this case have been charged with intimidation, which charges remain pending. Interesting that they're bringing this up. Number 3, Juror Doe has submitted a detailed affidavit, which I find to be credible. Juror Doe is in reasonable fear for their safety and the safety of their family if the list of jurors is made available to the public. Through their affidavit, Juror Doe has established that publication for the list identifying the names of the impaneled jurors will present a real and present risk of personal harm to jurors and to the integrity of their service. True. I mean, on paper, sure. It goes on. It says here, through the affidavit, Juror Doe has established that there's a continuing risk of immediate and irreparable injury should the jury list be made available to the public at this time. Through their affidavit, Juror Doe has established good cause to the extent of impound order dated July 8th, 2024, until and unless otherwise ordered by the court. This order shall not preclude any juror from identifying himself or herself and or from speaking to the public about her jury service. Right. So basically, it doesn't stop the jury from being able to talk to anybody and say whatever they want. Their names just can't be released. So now it's interesting because that is Beverly Cannoni's reasons for impounding the names and the identities of the jurors. Great. Okay, fine. Again, I have no problem with this. I explained this when we first talked about this, when we first heard about it. Misadventures Book Mouse, thank you so much. All they had to do was request to stay anonymous. In exchange, and defense would have agreed. Unnecessary claims of fear, harassment, targeting Karen Reed and Turtle Boy. No, hold on. I'm gonna get to all that. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Trust me. I'm going to get to all that. But right now, what I'm saying is, I don't give a shit about their identities being public. Like, if they want an impoundment, then that's fine. What I worry about is that there's an ulterior motive to this filing. I'm concerned about that. But let's go on and let's keep reading here. Because I don't think this is about. I don't think that this is about a juror's safety at all. I don't think that this is about a juror's fear of safety. I think it's about something completely different. But again, we'll get into that. Let me read it a little more before. Right, exactly. See, Bumpus knows exactly. See the exhibits. First, reserve your thought. Exactly what I planned on doing. I'm just talking based on the things that I've been seeing on Twitter. I don't like to form my opinion on that stuff. So that's why I wait and I go over this stuff, and I like to do it with you guys. So this is the emergency motion of interested non-party juror due to extend juror Doe to extend order. Emergency motion of interested non-party juror Doe to extend order of impoundment of jury list. Juror Doe, an interested non-party, moves pursuant to Rule 6 and 10 of Trial Court Rule 8, Uniform Rules and Impoundment Procedure, for an indefinite extension of the order of impound entered suspende by the court, Judge Cannoni, on July 8th, 2024, impounding the list of jurors on this action. Juror Doe was a juror in this action and wishes to maintain their privacy. Perfectly fine. In support of their motion, Juror Doe submits that the real and present risk of personal harm to the jurors and the integrity of their service is ongoing. See order of impoundment, quoting Commonwealth versus Fujita, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, there continues to be a risk of immediate and irresponsible injury or irreparable injury should the juror list be made public, and good cause exists for an indefinite extension of the order of impoundment. In further support of their motion, Juror Doe relies on their affidavit and memorandum of law filed herewith. Also filed herewith are a proposed findings in order and in an affidavit of service reflecting compliance with Rule 4 and the Uniform Rules of Impoundment. Juror Doe requests to use the pseudonym for purposes of this motion. Wherefore, Juror Doe, an interested non-party, respectfully requests the court grant their motion and enter the following relief. Permit Juror Doe to proceed using a pseudonym for purposes of this motion. Fine, and a pseudonym, for those of you who don't know, is another name, a pen name, if you will. Find that good clause exists for an extension of the order of impoundment of the jury list in the Commonwealth versus Reed. excuse me, Norfolk Superior Court, blah, 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 blah. Extend the order of impound of the jury list in the Commonwealth versus Reed, Norfolk Superior Court, indefinitely, but no earlier than July 16th, 2025. Okay. And then it's just a list of all these people here. So, so this here is the memorandum in support of emergency motion of interest non-party juror Doe to extend order of impoundment of jury list on July 8th, 2024. Now, I apologize, guys, because I can't see the chat while I'm reading this. So if I miss anything, I apologize. Cherry will take care of it. But I appreciate all you guys. So sorry if I miss anything. On July 8th, 2024, the court, Judge Beverly Cannoni, noting that this case has received significant and divisive attention in Massachusetts and across the nation, issued on order of impoundment after finding that good cause exists to impound the list identifying the names of impaneled jurors in the trial of this case. The court found good cause after concluding that there is a real and present risk of personal harm to the jurors and to the integrity of their service. See order of impoundment, blah, 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 blah. Interested non-party juror Doe served on the jury and wishes to maintain their privacy because the risk of harm to the members of the jury, including juror Doe, is ongoing and unlikely to abate in the foreseeable future. Juror Doe has moved pursuant to Rules 3 and 10 of Trial Court Rule 8, Uniform Rules on Impoundment Procedure, for an indefinite extension of the order impoundment. Brief procedural history relevant to this motion. On June 9th, 2022, the Commonwealth returned an indictment against the defendant, Karen Reed, charging Ms. Reed with second-degree murder. On March 26, 2024, the Commonwealth moved to establish a buffer zone surrounding Norfolk Superior Court during the trial of this action. The court allowed the motion after noting that it is well documented that protesters have shouted at witnesses and confronted family members of the victim, and that witness intimidation has also been a prevalent issue in this case. A single justice of the Supreme Judicial Court upheld the buffer zone order, noting that demonstrations near the courthouse could expose witnesses and jurors to, quote, intimidation and harassment, undermining their ability to testify or to serve without fear of reprisal, end quote. Okay, so I have thoughts about that. I have some thoughts about that. We all already know, those of us who have been here and we've followed this since they first charged Turtle Boy, which we went over the footage of that. But that happened last October. So we know the circumstances of Turtle Boy's charges. We know that they're absolute and utter bullshit. And we know that besides serving the purpose, because we've established that here as well, besides serving the purpose of trying to shut him up, what they also get to do is weaponize the fact that he has pending charges against him. So when anyone hears that, any new person hears that, such as maybe a juror who can't do any research on the case, right? When they hear this person is currently with pending charges of witness intimidation, well, then they're automatically going to look at him as the bad guy. He's the one in the eyes of the law when it comes to a jury and how a jury's supposed to look at somebody. They're supposed to judge somebody's credibility on whether or not they are lawful. And it implies strongly, because even though he hasn't been convicted of anything yet, it still implies strongly to a jury that he is somehow a criminal. and he is being investigated and it looks shady, just as much, make it, understand this, folks, for the Commonwealth to count on this, for the jury to look at it, for the Commonwealth to count on the jury to look at this way, to look at Turtle Boy this way, is the same way that we're counting on the jury to look at the McAlberts or Michael Morrissey or Lally even, and or Proctor, Tully, Buchanan, all of them, once the jury hears that certain of those, a good portion of those people are, if not certainly under investigation, most likely under federal investigation. So imagine what we're counting on. Think about that for a second. I'm just playing devil's advocate here for a second. Think about that. So what they're doing is they're weaponizing that, right? They look at it like, okay, well, Turtle Boy, this is what they're setting up. This is where I'm going with this. Now, I don't know what this juror has anything to do with it, but I find it suspicious that the juror went that extra mile. Basically, this seems like just some formality to put something on the record. That way it could be referenced and used later. But, okay, impound the jury's names and identities. Great. I have no problem with that. I have no interest in talking to any of these jurors. I certainly have no interest in threatening them or causing any harm to them in any way, shape, or form. I have no interest in that. So I have absolutely no interest in knowing what this jury, who these people on this jury are. I have no interest in knowing that. I don't need to know that. I have no cause for knowing that. So, but the thing is when you have someone like Turtle Boy, who's a journalist, there might be a reason why he might want their identities. I don't know if he does or not. I'm not saying he does. I'm saying, but let's just say that Turtle Boy contacts somebody who comes forward and says they're a juror, and then they're like, I want to remain anonymous, but I'll talk to you. Whatever the case may be, right? So the thing is the fact that Turtle Boy has pending charges of witness intimidation, and without someone looking into it and following it as closely as you and I have, they're just going to hear witness intimidation and pending charges, and they're going to judge him. That's what we would do automatically, because we're going to trust, they're going to give the Commonwealth the benefit of the doubt, aren't we? We're not going to automatically go into this looking at them like they're corrupt if we're fresh jurors, right? If we're jurors and we've got a fresh minds, unless you're a townie and you just understand how shit works there already, but unless you're one of them, you know, you're just a juror, you're going into this with a fresh mind, and you're not going to just assume that the DA and the Commonwealth, the prosecution, are doing dirty, weird shit. So what are you going to do? You're automatically going to look at the person who's got charges on them. You're going to look at them side-eyed. This motherfucker right here. He's got charges on him, and he's got all these people outside. And if they already look at Turtle Boy like this, and everybody outside is going, Turtle Boy, Turtle Boy, Turtle Boy, they're going to go, well, look at the fucking crazy mob he's got. That's why it's really important for everybody to keep their shit together. That's why it's really important, because I'm telling you right now, there is a big move here for the Commonwealth to retry Karen Read. And the big move here is to gain public favor, even though it seems absolutely impossible for them to do this. But they want to absolutely gain the jury's favor, whatever jury they end up with in the future. Because what's very interesting here is there also could be another, now this is tinfoil hat bullshit right here, but I mean, what if, well, no, never mind. Let me just dismiss that. But make no mistake that right now what's happening is they know the McAlberts, well, the prosecution. Let's just think of this from a trial strategy standpoint, coming from someone who has no experience
in the law at all. I'm just thinking here. Let's just say if I was writing an episode of Law and Order, right? So if I'm looking at this as, if I'm trying to apply this and think of a motive behind this and a lot of the other things and putting them together, think about it. You've got Paul O'Keefe. You've got the people in blue showing up at the last day or last 2 days of jury deliberations. Very interesting that they chose those very last days for jury deliberations to make their presence known, that they are opposite of the pink people, that they're out there dressed in blue for John O'Keefe because he's a police officer and they're the good guys, right? They go out there. Before jury instructions are given, Brian Albert, Kerry Roberts, Jen McCabe, and Colin Albert are sitting in the gallery behind Paul O'Keefe, right? Then you have these jurors coming forward. And you have these jurors coming forward, and one of them is saying that the jury collectively felt intimidated by Brian Higgins being there that one of those last days. But we know that Brian Higgins wasn't there. So they were clearly confusing Brian Higgins with Brian Albert. And Brian Albert was there. And they were basically stating that they felt intimidated by him. I mean, the fact of the matter is Brian Albert, even if you don't know the guy, he's a fucking intimidating looking presence, is he not? So you have that. And then you have all of these little attempts, right? Because now I'm also seeing that there's something happening with the popcorn. I don't know what's going on with that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to try to explore. I don't really know what's going on with that, but I want to find out. I want to know a little bit about it. But this all right after a mistrial is declared, and the prosecution has publicly said that they plan on retrying Karen Reed. I believe that this is all prep work, because also, let's also take a look at something else here before we get into this. Okay, that's why. All right. Because now this is happening too. Again, hear me out, people. So Turtle Boy posted this today. And this is happening. So Turtle Boy posted this, which says, in the last 24 hours, Bukaki, meaning Buchanan, has harassed and intimidated women in Woburn. And for those of you who know, or who aren't that familiar, that's Yuri Buchanan, who they call Bukaki. And who is it? Julie Albert called him Bukaki on the stand. It was just fucking hilarious. But he's one of the people who are directly involved in the investigation into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. And because he's so directly involved, there's no way that he wasn't involved in the frame up. And I happen to have been in the courtroom during his testimony, where he was clearly lying, especially based on the reactions I was seeing from Karen and from Karen's family. He was clearly lying, and this is the person who was on the stand when they cross-examined him the following day, who they this is the person who was on the stand when the jury saw for the first time the the wheel of John O'Keefe's tire move from Karen Reed backing into it. The jury didn't know about that, and they clearly reacted to this. Then the jury got to see, this is when the jury was shown the exposed or the inverted video. So this dude is, it's fair to say that if you believe that Karen Reed is being framed, this man here is an instrumental part of that process of Karen Reed being framed. So it's just fair to say. So just to give you guys a heads up on who this guy is. So, and Turtle Boy has been on to him and Proctor and all of these guys long before this trial even started, and has been exposing them, and with facts that ended up being verified in trial. So he posts this and says, in the last 24 hours, Bukkake has harassed and intimidated women in Woburn and Walpole for sending perfectly legal messages to Jennifer McCabe and Lizzie Proctor over a year ago. They're not cops. They're Secret Service for the McAlberts, criminals with guns and badges who deserve nothing but your disdain. If they ever come to your house, make sure you film them, mock them, degrade them, and let them know how disgusted you are with the fact that they protect cop killers. And yes, I commented on this because right here, this tells me everything that I need to know. This tells me everything that I need to know. I mean, this is somebody filming them with their phone, and this is someone's Ring camera picking them up, ringing their doorbell. Woburn. Okay, thank you. So yeah, when you take all of these things that I just spent the last 10, 15 minutes going over, you take all of these things into consideration, it's pretty difficult to deny how reasonable it is to think that this is just all a buildup to controlling the narrative for trial 2. They think that the reason why, this is how stupid and how clueless Michael Morrissey's office is, because they think that the reason why they didn't get a guilty conviction on this case was because of the outside interference, was because of there being so much public and so much outcry about it. But what they refuse to do is take accountability for the fact that their investigation was completely and totally fucked from the very, very beginning. And they're not acknowledging this. They're absolutely just dismissing this. And the way that they're approaching this, they're like, okay, well, what we need to do is build the public narrative on our side. But that won't matter. That won't matter. Let me read my comment because I'm better at writing things than I am speaking. So let me read my comment that I put there as a response to that. And I wrote, they're setting up for trial 2. They think that if they can bring charges against the people speaking out against the McAlberts, the jury will see the McAlberts as victims in the eyes of the law. Since there are charges, the outspoken citizens would be the villains to the jury when that trial comes. Exactly. So what I'm saying here is that they're going around now ringing people's doorbells and questioning them about anything that could be considered harassment of witnesses. So if they don't just arrest Turtle Boy, but arrest a bunch of different people, or at least charge a bunch of different people with the same stuff, well, then it doesn't look so much like they're just targeting Turtle Boy and he's a martyr anymore, does it? Does it? So
if they start to do that, and then the Commonwealth in opening statements in trial 2 gets to go, hey, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defense is going to sit here and they are going to try to convince you that there is some grand conspiracy going on, and that a bunch of our witnesses here that I'm going to call up are part of this grand conspiracy to not only frame this woman, but cover up the murder of some of them, a fellow police officer. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. But what you will see is evidence that these people have been targeted by a mob of crazy people, many of which have pending charges against them for witness intimidation. That right there is going to be, it's going to be designed to convince that jury that the McAlberts are victims and that Turtle Boy and anybody who follows him is a villain. That is exactly the attempt here. Because what that does is that puts the Commonwealth in a position when the defense presents exculpatory evidence, some of which will have been stuff that Turtle Boy discovered on his own. Now, I am sure that the defense has their own very effective investigators, and we're able to find out many, if not all of the same things Turtle Boy found out independently on their own, because it's their job. I'm sure of that. I would not give them that kind of credit. What I'm saying, though, is what this strategy does, this very, very effective and fucked up and rights violating fucking strategy is for them to be able to go, okay, yeah, see, all of these people have been charged with witness intimidation. A bunch of these people have been charged with witness intimidation. And then when the defense presents exculpatory evidence that Turtle Boy independently found out on his own, they're going to go, well, didn't a blogger named Turtle Boy post this on this date and write about it on blah, 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 Turtle Boy Live, episode so-and-so? Did he not do that? And isn't this man, Turtle Boy, Mr. Aiden Carney, isn't he currently sitting pending charges on bail, pending charges of witness intimidation? Aren't some of his followers? How was that picture taken? That's what they're looking to do. They're starting now. Kim Schwint, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Picketing a witness. Right. So, people, I'm trying to tell you, this is the conceptual stages of the prosecution playing defense against the defense's exculpatory strategies. Jen Del Rio, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Wow, right on. Opal Gypsy, Denise Gardner, Rosalie Livadio, Taillight Confetti Fairy, and Riza Biller. Right on. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. So right, this is a manipulation tactic. Because if they bring Turtle Boy into this situation, if they use Turtle Boy and tie him closely with Karen Reed, that's going to be their strategy to make Turtle Boy discredited, to basically just discredit Turtle Boy. And it's not helping that the media isn't covering this factually in real time. It's a shame that they're not. And I'm glad that I've been calling them out on it this entire time, because now, again, this last news clip that we just watched, what did they do? The controversial blogger Turtle Boy, You know what I mean? A jury hears that and they've never heard of Turtle Boy, and he's charged with witness intimidation, and they show videos of him being aggressive with a phone. That's not going to matter, dude. They're not going to look at it because they're not going to review, and the defense isn't going to take the time to educate the jury on what has happened to Turtle Boy's case. You know what I mean? The defense isn't going to take the time to defend Turtle Boy to the jury and explain, okay, well, if you look at this video and look at this video, that's not actually what happened. They're railroading him the same way that they're railroading my client. You realize how much you have to actually go over to convince a jury that that's actually true, and for them to not dismiss you like you're a paranoid, crazy fuck who's standing up there with a law degree and saying, well, they railroaded him too. They're framing him just like they framed her. You imagine? So basically, it's a big gaslight tactic. It's one big fat gaslight tactic from the prosecution. They want to make the jury go, well, I mean, why would we do these things? You think we're going to just violate people's rights left and right? Come on. We're the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We're your home. Why would we do that? People. All right, let me keep reading this thing. Trial was held over several weeks between April 2024 and July 1st, 2024. The case went to the jury, but after several days, the jury was unable to render a unanimous verdict on all three counts of the indictment. On July 1st, 2024, the court declared a mistrial. Defendant moved to dismiss 2 counts of the indictment after the trial. Ms. Reed supported her motion with declarations from her attorneys recounting statements from jurors regarding the jury deliberation and interactions between jurors following the declaration of a mistrial. The circumstances of the trial and post-trial motion practice have further intensified emotions about the jury and its individual members. On July 8th, 2024, the court issued an order of impoundment, impounding the list of juror names and addresses. Among other reasons for entering the order, the court remarked the people associated with the case have been charged with intimidation of the pursuant to rule blah 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 of the uniform rules of impoundment procedure. The order of impoundment will expire 10 days after the issuance, unless otherwise ordered by the court for good cause shown. Good cause exists to extend the impoundment order. Applicable legal standards. The uniform rules permit impoundment upon showing of good cause. The order of impoundment issued pursuant to Rule 3 of the Uniform Rules of Impoundment Procedure, which authorizes a court to impound materials to an ex parte. All right, so hold on. I'm not going to go over all this stuff. What I'm going to do, because we're going to keep this nice and, give me a second here. Because I have screenshots of bullet points that were also sent to me. And okay, what did you say to go over exhibits? Well, actually, I am going to read this. Never mind. I am going to read this because I just thumbed through some of it. So it says here, there is a substantial risk of personal harm to the jurors. The public interest associated with this case is unique and just for its intensity, but not just for its intensity, but for the extent to which segments of the public have become invested in the outcome and taken sides for and against persons affiliated with the case. Indeed, both this court and the single justice of the Supreme Judicial Court recognize that in imposing a buffer zone around Norfolk Superior Court during this trial, the circumstances of this case continue to pose a unique risk of personal harm to the jurors. Juror Doe notes in their affidavit that the jury recognized the intensity of the public interest during the trial. You know what's ironic about this, though? The irony about this to me is the fact that I am so pro the protection of this of each and every one of these jurors' identities for the simple reason that I think that they're in danger of the McAlberts. I don't think that they're in danger of anybody who believes Karen Reed is innocent. I honestly don't think that. I don't believe that for a second. I think that there was a reason why Brian Albert, Colin Albert, Kerry Roberts, and Jen McCabe were sitting in that gallery on that day, specifically for that day. I absolutely, I mean, if these people are willing to lie on the stand the way that they did, we saw the behavior from Chris Albert, the tamest one. We saw the behavior from Chris Albert at CF McCarthy's with Turtle Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like I want their identities impounded because I'm afraid of them intimidating them, because I genuinely believe that with an anonymous protected jury, an honest protected jury, there's no way that any jury who isn't tampered with in some way, shape, or form would ever unanimously convict Karen Reed of any of those 3 counts. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. There's no whoever voted guilty on count 2, whoever did that completely dismissed the entire concept of reasonable doubt, which is the heart and soul of what they're there to do. It is the absolute, it is the heart and soul of what they're supposed to base their decision making on. So I do not believe for 1 second that because you actually have to be really stupid and that bullheaded, because I promise you, at least one of those jurors explained to them during deliberations and said, hey, there's this thing called reasonable doubt. We as jurors cannot convict somebody on any of these counts if we have any doubt whatsoever. So I'm asking you, since you now understand the concept of reasonable doubt, sitting in this room with your duty to understand this, how can you tell me definitively what happened to John O'Keefe's clothing in that 3-week period before it was entered into evidence and after it was photographed on the hospital floor, scattered all over the hospital floor, or in a pile on the hospital floor? Can you please, since you understand this and you want to say she's guilty, can you tell me definitively what happened with those clothes? Or what didn't happen? Can you definitively tell me that taillight pieces couldn't have been planted in those 3 weeks? So, I mean, it's just that simple. You know what I mean? So I don't think that someone is that stupid. I don't think that someone sitting on that jury is going to be that stupid to where they're going to not understand it after that is explained to them in whichever way that person would have explained it. But I guarantee you somebody did. But that juror was still like, nope, no, and there was a couple of them, right? Supposedly. So a couple of them are like, no way, she did it. I just don't think she meant to. What do you mean? Doesn't even make sense. Like there's so much doubt in whether or not she actually hit him at all. There's doubt that she was even in the spot where they're saying she was there at the time that she was supposedly there. And how the fuck do you explain nobody saw this guy laying on the lawn? We went there. We saw the lawn. You're going to tell me nobody? There's no fucking way that somebody who hasn't been fucked with isn't going to, because I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet. Now, I don't know this for a fact. I'm just guessing. I'm speculating. But I'm willing to bet, though, in a gamble, that the person whose lawyer submitted this, the jury member whose lawyer submitted this, Juror Doe, is one of the people who voted guilty on count 2. I guarantee it. So I feel like, yeah, this is I guarantee it. I feel like Juror Doe is definitely one of those people, because I don't think, because we're looking at this happening, and then we're looking at we're looking at jurors coming forward. We're looking at, okay, sorry, timeline real quick brief timeline. We look at Judge Beverly Cannoni gets a note from the jury from the jury foreman saying, we're at an impasse and we're in an impasse and we can't reach a decision. And then David Yannetti pushes for the Tui Rodriguez instructions, right? So then she does that, and then they come back later with the same note, a little bit more emphasized, right? And then she says, I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your duty is complete, and you guys have a nice day. I'm declaring a mistrial. Goodbye. And that's all that happened. And it was over before anybody knew shit, right? Then juror comes forward, says, wait a minute, something happened here. They go to the defense, not the prosecution, which is interesting, but they go to the defense, and then they contact the defense and they say, hey, we want you to know that it was unanimous on counts 1 and 3. And it wasn't even an even split on count 2. Right? So this piques the interest of the defense. They file a motion. And then a couple of other jurors come forward. And then this juror files this motion independently. Their own attorney files this motion after Judge Beverly Cannoni makes an order to impound the identities of the jurors, of all the jurors. So to me, that's great. Again, because if I'm sitting there and I'm concerned about them intimidating the jury and sitting in there in that gallery and staring them down, of course I'm going to want their names protected. I don't want these people who we believe killed a cop and then covered it up and utilized resources, friends and family within other police departments. I don't trust any of that. I don't trust those fucking people. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. Like I would be afraid that they could do something to one of these jurors, and they have motive to do so because they want that guilty verdict bad. That's why they're going for it so bad. Because as Karen Reed's defense stated in their motion to dismiss before the trial even started, they stated that Michael Morrissey just needs this win. He wants this win. He doesn't care about justice. He just wants a win. And he wants this win because he feels that this is going to exonerate him. This is going to justify all of the mistakes that were made during the investigation into the death of Officer John O'Keefe, because they're being federally investigated. So Michael Morrissey feels that if they get a guilty verdict, well, then it vindicates them. It justifies everything that was done except for Michael Proctor's actions that were unprofessional with the phone, which everybody is so focused about. Which, hilariously to me, the Massachusetts State Police spokesperson made it a point to say that, we want to be clear that it had nothing to do with the investigation, and this is strictly about him being suspended, is strictly about the inappropriate text messages about Karen Reed. Bullshit. Because again, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it many more times. If they investigate the investigation, if the Massachusetts State Police has to investigate the investigation, well, then that means that they're going to have to investigate Tully too. It implicates everyone involved in that. If they say that there's something, if they publicly say that they think there's something shady with how that investigation was conducted, even with negligence, everyone's going to be looked at. You're going to tell me Trooper Paul's not going to get side-eyed and looked at? Right now, he's just being dismissed as incompetent, as an idiot, as a dummy. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody's just like, he's fucking stupid. What we should be asking is, why? Why was he assigned to the case? Why was this guy put in charge of recreating a hit and run of a Boston police officer? Right? That's the question we need to be asking. You're going to tell me that the Massachusetts State Police, in order to thoroughly investigate the death of a Boston police officer, that they didn't have the resources, they didn't have somebody better qualified than Paul? He was the best. Trooper Paul was the best that they had. I don't believe that. I believe that they put the worst guy on it, the most incompetent one on it. Because think about it. Like, if we saw how stupid he was on that stand, imagine how stupid he comes off to his coworkers every fucking day he walks into the office. Every time he walks into the goddamn station, there's always something. Somebody that stupid is going to shine. Somebody that fucking dumb is going to shine to the rest, and everybody's, he's going to be the one that they break the balls of the most. You know what I mean? He's just fucking dumb. So when it comes to this case and they say, okay, well, what we got to do is we just got to come up with some bullshit here, and get somebody who we can puppet to do what we want. And then when it goes fucking sour, if it goes sour, it goes as far as it goes to trial, we claim negligence. We just say, oh, well, look at we had on the guy. It's his fault. He's a fucking idiot. He's dumb. Lean on me. Thank you so much. Judge Bev is willing to accept this based on social media, but she refused to recuse herself when Brian Albert called her Auntie Bev and talked about her lake house sitting. It was gossip. Yeah, that's I'm not sure if that went down like that exactly, but that's where the Auntie Bev thing comes from. Is somebody, I think it was Colin, wasn't it Colin? I'm not sure it was Brian. But somebody, yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I wish that she would recuse herself too. Lean on me, and thank you again. I wish that she would recuse herself too. Because it was Sean McCabe. Okay. It was Sean McCabe. Thank you. They called her Auntie Bev. Okay. Yeah, it was a McAlbert, exactly. Oh, it was Kevin Albert. Was it Kevin Albert now? Who works for the Canton Police Department? Okay. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is just fascinating to me. See, I just don't think this is an accident, because if this anonymous person comes forward, this informant, and says that they felt intimidated by the people sitting in the gallery the day of instructions. They felt that was really, they felt intimidated. And that had something to do with the votes. I mean, somebody straight up said it. You know what I mean? So it's not unreasonable to suspect it from happening. And especially with this too. The fact that they're stating that they're somehow afraid of Turtle Boy, because this is what this narrative is here. This narrative is that we, the jury, or at least this particular member of the jury, had to get a lawyer and is urging the judge to extend this impound of our identity because we're so scared of the people who you, Judge Beverly Cannoni, created a buffer zone for. Right? So they're playing off Judge Beverly Cannoni's already exercise in robbing people of their First Amendment rights. And they're just playing off that. They're like, oh, well, you already put a buffer zone because you feared our safety. So because you said that, Judge Beverly Cannoni, then we request that you extend this impound. And that's fine. Again, what's interesting about this, to me, I don't give a shit that they extend the impound. I don't, unless I'm missing something. Because I don't need to know the identities of these jurors unless that somehow stops the defense from being able to subpoena them. Then that's why I would have a problem with it. But I don't need to know who they are. I have no interest. I have nothing invested in that. For what? Why would I need that? So it doesn't bother me at all. Twisted Tragedies Rent Money. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Listen, you win handle of the day. So yeah, this is very funny. Hold on, I didn't see the pic. Is that hold on, let me see the pic. Oh, Brian Albert. That's fantastic. Yes. You get another round of applause for handle of the
Today, Junior.
All right. Okay. Chill out, Billy. We're going. Juror Doe notes that the affidavit that the jury recognized the intensity of the public interest during the trial. Affidavit of Juror Doe. They heard protesters outside the courthouse yelling and screaming after being discharged from service on July 1st, 2024. The jury was taken by bus back to what was supposed to have been a secret location where they observed what appeared to be members of the media, including photographers. Jury Doe says that they were so much in fear on their way home from jury service that they pulled over to the side of the road to make sure that they were not being followed. Each side of the issue appears to include persons willing to inflict or to encourage others to inflict harm on persons associated with the case. Okay, now that I can live with. I don't like it because we just know that it's half not true, but I'm willing to live with it. I'm willing to live with them saying that both sides, that they're not targeting the Karen Reed supporters. So okay, at least the juror is being like, look, we don't know what to fucking think because I'm telling you, this juror right here was all over the goddamn internet. I guarantee it. Probably, if not during the fucking trial, I doubt it. But do I doubt it though? I don't know. But at least after the trial, and I'll bet you anything that somebody used a fucking fake sock account on Twitter and got into Facebook groups and saw all the talk and saw the shit. And yes, there's a lot of toxic shit on social media about this shit. Right, that's what I'm saying. In other advice, I'm talking about that right now. Calm down. I'm talking about that right now. Yeah, I don't, they have a right to feel worried and they have a right to their safety, especially for performing civic duty. You know what I mean? So I have no doubt that this person has been all over social media. I have no doubt about it because there's some really toxic, fucked up shit that happens. Dude, the stuff that I see about the Donald Trump assassination attempt, the stuff that I see on fucking Twitter about that shit is mind-blowing. I mean, mind-blowing. I'm talking about like from the craziest leftist, most ridiculous shit in the world to the most racist and far-right fucked up shit you could ever imagine hearing. It's really bad, man. Like, I'm just fascinated by it. I'm like, holy shit. I can't even believe people fucking still think like this. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yes, and something this public, there's going to be nasty, fucked up people. And, who knows how far they're going to go. You know what I mean? Who knows? There are people who are very passionate about this case, but who knows? Who knows who knows if there's somebody in the thousands of people who follow this and are passionate about it, don't have the chemical balance to be able to manage that passion. They don't have the tools, you know what I mean, to be able to handle being that passionate about something, and then they do something stupid and fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, that's possible. That's always possible. So I'm all for the jury, their identities being protected. Absolutely, 100%. Hey, it's Chaos Coordinator. Were they afraid of both sides? It sounded like it referenced that in this motion. Right. Yes. I just went over that. And thank you so much. But yeah, that's absolutely the vibe I'm getting here. So, I don't see any reason why this is at all controversial. I don't like the media pointing out that it's all Turtle Boy, because they sure as fuck targeted him. They won't give him press when it's good press, but when it's bad press, they'll give it to him. Something that could be misconstrued as bad, they'll give it to him. And I find that probably more frustrating than he does.
And I don't know why. I mean, honestly, I find it frustrating simply because, like, I'm seeing it. It's in my face. And I you know, I'm like, I think it's because I'm being played for stupid. And I'm taking offense to it. As somebody who is counting on media exposure for this case, somebody who's counting on the media exposing this case, I want it to be delivered to the public factually, and leaving stuff out, it infuriates me, you know? And I feel like them not even trying to tell the entire truth about what is very public already makes them dishonest, unethical. Excuse me. Yeah, it's frustrating, dude. Yeah, I feel like I'm just being fucking, or they're trying to dupe me. Like it feels like being gaslit. When you grow up watching TV your whole fucking life, and the news has always been the source of information, you know, intelligent people would have intelligent grown-ups would sit around and have intelligent conversations about what they saw on the news. You had people like Dan Rather and Walter Cronkite who barely ever gave opinions unless it was about something massive that took place, but just reported the news. It's just what they did. There was digging and investigations taking place, investigative reporting that took place constantly. And now it's just, what do they think is going to keep people watching so that when we play our sponsors' commercials, we generate more revenue? Because that's the goal. It's not to put out information anymore. You know? And it's frustrating because being on this end of it, I'm just like, the fuck, man? Why aren't you talking about this? And what is this bullshit? The blogger Turtle Boy. Like, okay, fine. You want to call him a blogger? Fine. You know, but at least credit him. Credit him for information that is actually pretty vital for anybody who's following this case to know. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad thing to do that, because this is going to help the Commonwealth. There's enough information out there for people who are supposedly just reporting the news. There's enough information out there for them. If they have an investigative bone in their body, they can come to the conclusion that Karen Read is factually innocent. It's physically impossible for Karen Read to have hit John O'Keefe with her SUV in any way that the Commonwealth has claimed that she's done it. Not one theory holds up. Not one theory that the Commonwealth has presented about Karen Read hitting John O'Keefe allegedly with her SUV has ever held up. And why isn't the media talking about this? And I just find that frustrating. All right. And each side of the issue appears to include persons willing to encourage others to inflict harm on persons associated with the case. As the court is aware, there have been many accusations of and at least one arrest and charge for witness intimidation. Commonwealth versus Carney, Norfolk Superior Court. The blogger who has been charged with witness intimidation has characterized any jurors who did not vote to acquit the defendant as idiots who helped cover up a murder.
Juror Doe affidavit. This accusation is, of course, absurd, but is noteworthy because the blogger has demonstrated how he treats those whom he believes cover up a murder. He has been accused of and essentially admits to harassing witnesses and has made statements to the effect of murderers and those who cover for them do not deserve to live a comfortable life. The blogger has gleefully admitted to obtaining a public jury list in a different criminal case and shaming the juror who did not deliberate in the manner he preferred. I have no idea how true that is, but some among the defendant's detractors pose risk of harassment and violence as well. Juror Doe is aware of dueling requests for harassment orders and physical altercations between the two sides. Juror Doe affidavit, blah, blah, blah. As recent described in the Boston Globe, the people who were on the fringe of being interested in it are now engulfed. The anger level was at sorry, I need glasses, man. It's really hard for me to read this very small print. I apologize. The anger level was at 9 before, and now it's at 11.5. The article characterized this increase as a rising range. The article goes on to quote another interviewee as saying, "People are insane about this case. If they don't agree with you, they'll try to dox you. The jurors, if identified, are likely to become targets of harassment, abuse, doxing, and potentially violence. The nearly unprecedented and vitriolic public interest associated with this case is likely to put it squarely within the few instances in the Commonwealth where jurors have been threatened or harassed, as noted by Justice Gantz in Fujita." Blah, blah, blah. The court would be well within the discretion to find a continuing risk of personal harm to the jurors, and that good cause exists to permit them to remain anonymous if they choose to do so. There's a substantial risk of personal harm to the judicial system. There also exists an ongoing risk of harm to the integrity of the judicial system. Again, as cautioned by Justice Gantz, the creation of juror list to be included in the case file may over time diminish the fairness and impartiality of jurors. If jurors fear reprisal of the form of shaming, abuse, or harassment, it will make it more difficult both to impanel a jury and for individual jurors to remain fair and impartial. The risk is not abstract, particularly because the Commonwealth versus Reed is not over. In the event of a new trial, the parties will need to impanel a new jury. No doubt that will be a difficult task in any event. Jesus. But if jurors from the first trial are identified and harassed, it will be even more difficult to find jurors willing to serve and potentially be subjected to the same treatment. There is a real risk to the administration of justice and to the parties' rights to a fair trial. The court should minimize the risk of extending the order of impoundment. Yeah, and that's okay. Yeah, I as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that's just fine. But it's I think it sucks that they singled out Turtle Boy, but I mean, of course, this juror, if this juror is impartial, if this juror never heard of this case until this trial, and then when they got out, they heard about Turtle Boy and then did some research on Turtle Boy and then just looked at Turtle Boy as just being charged with a crime and read some of his stuff and found him just to be distasteful, but did not understand the difference between him breaking the law and him just being aggressive. But the thing is
I would never usually agree with Turtle Boy's tactics. The problem is that I've never seen circumstances like this before. So I don't think that there's a moral underlying issue here. When it comes to these people, those people are clearly fucking lying. So I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for them at all. And when you're dealing with all of these different people, and it's such a tight-knit family fucking thing where nobody's going to talk and they're going to protect themselves and each other, what other tactics are there but to be aggressive? What other tactics are there? What other tactics are there than to get in the face of somebody who feels like they are completely and totally invincible and provoke them enough to go, you know what? Fuck you. I got nothing to fucking hide from anybody. I do what the fuck I want in this town. Because I bet you that's the fucking gold that Turtle Boy was trying to strike. When he's digging that hard into somebody, like, oh, you want to tell everybody why this? You want to tell everybody why that? Blah, 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 blah. And he's got his phone in their face. I guarantee you what he's trying to do is fucking, he's trying to elicit an emotional response from them. Like, fuck you. Yeah, what if I did do it, you piece of shit? You know what I mean? Like, what else is there? These people are living by a code of as long as you shut the fuck up. All you got to do is keep your fucking mouth shut. And everybody here will be okay. If I'm Brian Albert talking, that's what I'm telling every single person in that situation. All everybody here's got to do is shut the fuck up and not say a fucking thing. That's it. And everybody here, all of us, are going to be okay. You know what I mean? And this is, I mean, we're talking about basically Boston. I know it's just outside of Boston, but it's basically Boston. And one thing that I've always heard as far as the stereotypical things about Boston culture is Boston people, when they keep their mouth shut, they don't fucking talk, man. That is, I think it's an Irish thing. They just don't fucking talk. You know? And the only way you're going to get them to talk is if they lose their shit and start yelling. And they do it in a you know who, fuck you, and why the fuck am I lying to the likes of you? Who the fuck are you? If you can get that response from them, you know, but that's the only chance you got. So do I believe that Turtle Boy's tactics were necessary to get the information that he's gotten? Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But I'm telling you, people, I'm telling you right now, everything that's happening right now. Now, what's going on with the popcorn thing? I don't know what's going on with the popcorn thing. I wish somebody would explain it to me. I want to get a better understanding. Now, as I understand it, maybe correct me anytime, anybody, because I don't fully understand. All of these different creators and all of these different people were, and not even all creators, but I mean, the usual folks who have been doing standouts and protests and fundraisers. There's been this fundraiser going on, I think for a while now, I think for like a year, of selling popcorn. And
half of the proceeds, as I understand it, go to Karen Reed's defense, and then the popcorn company gets half of it. Popcorn company won't do business with Karen Reed anymore because people complained they were meant for school sport fundraisers. Okay. Now, who complained? That's my question. Now, I don't literally want to know who. I just want to know what their motives were. Thank you. Hey, it's Chaos. They have once again redirected the attention off the focus of the matter. Justice for John O'Keefe, Free Karen Reed, and Turtle Boy and the corruption. Agreed. But the thing is that popcorn thing was a hell of a goddamn effective fundraiser. It absolutely was. So what I'm understanding about this is that they found out that, yeah, it's supposed to be for kids or something like that. But the problem is that when you look at the amount of money that was raised, something had to happen, because why would, if you think about the money that the popcorn company made off of that, because I'm telling you right now, people, I go to the movies, I order a big tub of popcorn. Now, when I was much younger and a much bigger asshole, I would fucking scoff or say something to the poor kid, the poor pimply kid who's fucking selling me the popcorn about the price, because it's ridiculously expensive, right? You got this big, gigantic fucking bag of popcorn, right? And all right, great, you got a big tub, but it costs you fucking $8 goddamn. Fucking drink costs you $5, right? Actually, I mean, a big tub, you're looking at more like 11 or 12 bucks, right? You know how cheap popcorn is? Like how fucking, I mean, that big tub is about a nickel's worth of popcorn, maybe a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of profit that they're making off of that. Now, of course, I would never do that now, because the poor kid, you know what I'm saying? And imagine how many times he's got to hear that shit a night, because it's common knowledge. My point being is it's fucking common knowledge that popcorn is all profit. It's all profit at the movie theater. And I'm telling you, if what were they selling these popcorns for? What, $10 a pop? So $10. I mean, think about and they raised how much fucking money? How much money? Does anybody have a number for how much money was raised total? All right. All right. So let me get a better understanding about this company before I talk about it a little more. Let's take a look at their website. Thank you, Cherry. Let's take a look at, so they're called Double Good, and we're on a mission to spread joy. Okay. I love it. Double Good exists to support and create joy for America's youth. Every fundraiser we host empowers kids to pursue their dreams, and 50% of every purchase made on our site goes to the Double Good Kids Foundation, which has been able to raise millions for children with special needs. Okay, that's pretty specific. But how long have they been doing this? How long have they been doing this? About a year. About a year, maybe longer. Okay. See, this is one of those kind of lives that I really like to do because I get to interact with you guys. You guys are helping me out a lot, and I love that. 5 fundraisers. Okay. 5 fundraisers. Oh, no. Okay. No, this was their 3rd fundraiser. Well, okay. I might go on a rant here. Double Good had a humble beginning in 1998, starting from a tiny retail store in Chicago's Navy Pier, searching for the right fit where our popcorn could create the most amount of joy for people. We developed a program that enabled kids and community groups to sell Double Good popcorn to raise funds. As letters and calls poured in from young athletes telling us that the popcorn was so good, it helped them raise enough money to do the things they loved, we were inspired to transform the business for good. Today, Double Good's industry, leading virtual fundraising platform, lets organizations raise the funds they need quickly and effortlessly. Teams can sell popcorn virtually by sharing a link with friends and families and keep 50% of every dollar in sales to fuel their dreams. And our Double Good Kids Foundation spreads even more joy by hosting events filled with all ability activities for children with special needs and their families. So yeah, that's a good deal. So here, we give you the popcorn, you sell it, and you get to keep half of whatever you raise. That's a great deal. But this site specifically details that this is designed for children to achieve their dreams, children with special needs. This is clearly what the issue is. So I have questions. And I might regret asking these questions, but I have questions. Well, yeah, they still get of course they get the money. Why wouldn't they get the money? But my issue is, did they know that they were raising money? Did they know the entire time that they were raising money for Karen Reed's defense? Or did whoever set it up, who I don't know who it was, I have no idea, but did whoever set it up, were they clear to them? Because they had to have found, whoever set this up had to have known about the foundation. They had to have known about what this is and what they do. They had to have done at least the simplest amount of research, which is look at this website right here that is plain as day, and contacted them, right? I mean, who doesn't do that? You see what I'm saying? So did these people raise all of this money and keep all of this profit from how much money was raised for Karen Reed's defense for providing popcorn for it? Because I mean, Cherry's shared the link in the chat here many times. Many times. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, I mean, obviously somebody complained, but I mean, how is that not bound to happen? You get, I mean, again, a lot of you might not like the questions I'm asking here, but I can't help but think of things on these terms. How did this not get expected to happen? You know, if they're specifically on their website, I mean, it spells it out. So if it's specifically on their website, what the fundraiser is designed for, but they're using it to raise money for a woman's defense who is on trial for murder of a police officer. You see the contrast here between special needs kids and that? You see the contrast? I am shocked that it took this long, considering the hate and visceral behavior that I see taking place towards Karen Reed and towards Karen Reed supporters. So whoever set this up, whoever was the person who initiated this contact with Double Good, I mean, I have to know. I don't have to know. Honestly, I don't have to know, but I'm curious as to if they were forthcoming about what the fundraiser was for, or they were just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, was Double Good like, yeah, sure, well, you know, a woman on trial for the Karen Reed thing, cool. We're big supporters of that. Off the record. You know what I mean? Well, no, DB, you're missing the point. The point is that it's a fundraising, it's a fundraiser organization that it's the nature in which they what they focus their fundraising for. You you see what I'm saying? They're not saying it's wrong to do that, but they're saying that's not what we do. we don't do that. We do special needs kids things, man. That's what we do. We don't do people who may or may not be guilty of murder raising a defense for them. You know, like, so it's not that they have a problem with raising money for that. It's that that's not what they do. You can't make them do what they don't do. You know what I mean? So I'm curious as to like how this went on for as long as it did. Nobody else is asking that question. Am I crazy? Nobody else is asking like, how did this not become a problem almost a year ago? I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if it was a case of like, yeah, off the record, we'll do it, but as soon as somebody complains, we're cutting it off, you know? But yeah, just know that's not what we do here. Oh, understood. Or was it a case of who knows what the fuck they said, but yeah, we want to do this fundraiser, and how do we go ahead and do that? Yeah, that sounds great. I'm really interested. And then completely leave out the fact that it's a fundraiser for Karen Reed, and then they just fucking happen to find out about it later. You know what I mean? Like, so if that's the case, why wasn't that information made available to them in the beginning? You know? See, like, that's my whole thing, man. This is why people like, no, it does matter what the fundraiser is for when they say Double Good, about us, we're on a mission to spread joy, and America's youth, joy for America's youth. It clearly says so right there. It's the first thing you read. So no, it's no listen, Will, Kim Robinson. There's no listen, Will. I mean, it matters. It matters. There's an image. What if Karen Reed is found guilty? What if Karen Reed did it? Now, we all know she didn't because we're looking at it from those terms. But I'm saying, what if somebody did this for somebody who is guilty? And then how's that going to look for this fundraising place that's designed to raise money for kids with special needs? You know what I mean? Like, again, nobody's saying you can't raise money. There's something wrong with raising money for Karen Reed. Again, I've shared the link here myself. I never did the research on the company. But I like to think that if I actually had the inclination to do so, I would have been like, how come nobody's okay? I mean, if they're cool with that, then they're cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're cool with that, then they're cool with that, you know? But I would look at this and go, okay, that's kind of weird that they're, I mean, it's supposed to be for kids. And here we are raising money for a woman on trial for murdering a cop. This is different, you know? This is, again, like I said, if there's a spectrum here, they're on very far ends of each other, you know, away from each other on this spectrum of what these people do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, is it wrong for me to ask the question is like, what the fuck took so long? Because again, I would have probably just been like, okay, but I would have looked at that and been like, that's fucking weird. You know what I mean? This fundraiser is designed to raise money for kids, and here we are, and it's helping us raise money for a woman accused of killing a cop. Okay. Like, sorry guys. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, it's fucking, it's like, how did that conversation go? I'm just so curious. I mean, yeah. So I want to do a fundraiser and blah blah blah. Okay. But I wonder, did they ever ask what the fundraiser was for? I guess that's the sole question. Did they ever ask what are you raising money for? You know what I mean? So what was said when that question was asked? Because I feel like they would ask that. I feel like that would be like, I feel like you'd have to fill something out, you know. Hold on, let's go down this rabbit hole. Why not? Fuck it. Get started. Coach Kim's pop. Should I skip the tour? Yeah, let's skip it. I mean, but how do I find out? Okay, set up a fundraiser. Okay. Hold on. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. All right. Okay. Other. Okay. So let me share with you guys what I got going on here. So I'm filling out this thing. I just got lost in it already. So let me see. Yeah, see, look, type in the name of your team, right? Type in the name of your team. Okay, so free Turtle Boy, right? Free TB. From sports teams to nonprofit organizations. Okay, that's specific. So I mean, it's vague, meaning like there's room. So it could be another organization. But it doesn't have to be, but it still might just have to be related to children. So it says from sports teams to nonprofit organizations, Double Good has helped raise over $100 million. Organization type, and then I have to, I'm given a choice here. So arts and culture, associations, clubs and community, education and academics, health and wellness, religious organizations, sororities and fraternities, sports and athletics, and other. So of course I would have to pick other, right? If I'm raising money for a woman accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Name of my organization. Okay. Free TB. Let's see. Zip code. What's the zip code in in Boston? Zero 2 4 4 6. Okay. Fundraiser details. When are you looking to start fundraising? ASAP. Why not? Next, participants. How many members will join your team? Let's say 2 to 10. Estimated earnings your team could win, blah, 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 blah. Next, schedule a fundraiser. So that's all it seemed to ask me about that. It was just other. I could have just kept going. I could set up an account, but I don't think, and I just don't want to go that far. But yeah, it's just that they never asked. You know what I mean? You could just put other, and I could put free Karen Reed if I want to, right? So, but yeah, I'm guessing that, but I'm fascinated as to how long it took for I'm fascinated for how long it took for somebody to complain about this, because it makes sense. Like they most likely didn't do it over the phone. They just looked up the website, and then they filled it out and did it under other, and so that's it. I mean, that's not at all on the person who created it. I don't think. I mean, other than the fact that they looked at the fucking site and was like, it's designed for kids, but let's do this shit anyway. Whatever. I mean, they did raise a lot of money, but they had to have expected this to happen. There's no way that you didn't go into that shit and into that website and that didn't cross your fucking mind once. You know, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, hold on. Okay, hold on.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Thank you, playing grab ass. I will do that. Give me 1 second here. Wait, what? Okay, so they do mention not allowed to raise money for legal defenses. So this is on the person who who set this up. I don't know who they were, but they just should have looked out better. But the thing is they also did raise a lot of money. So there is that. But I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I can't help but get over, like, you know what I mean? I can't help but be like, in the terms and conditions, right? No, who reads the terms and conditions? Nobody reads the terms and conditions, dude. You know? But I mean, at the same time, I still feel like this is clearly designed for kids. Yes, I did check, Cherry. Thank you. This is clearly designed for kids. So, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So, okay. And then there's this screenshot. So it disgusts me that you allowed a fundraiser for a murderer. Karen Reed, free Karen Reed, take your accountability and give your proceeds to the victim's family. Double Good said, thank you for this comment. We sent you a DM for more information, with more information. Great job raising money for murderers, attorney fees. You should be proud. And then Double Good limited who could comment on that post. So I don't know what that is. That's, I mean, clearly that's what they had to say about it. But let me see. I think there's another one here. Okay. So then there's this one. This company is great. It even benefits off of murdered police officers. You should be proud. See, that's harsh shit, man. Thank you for reaching out. We've sent you a DM with more information. How can we even have a fundraiser for a murderer? Unbelievable. I mean, but she's not a murderer. She wasn't convicted. And then there's this that I haven't seen yet. Hold on. All right. So this one says, hi, and thank you for reaching out. We understand your concerns and hear you. While Double Good was designed to raise joy and create opportunity for America's youth, our platform's ease of use does occasionally attract organizers that are outside that company vision. Subsequently, as the Karen Reed fundraiser did not violate our terms of service, it was allowed to remain active for its duration within our system. See, this is answering my questions. For its duration within our system. That said, we are permanently freezing this fundraising organizer moving forward, which will present any future funds from being raised through our platform. Thank you for our patience. Thank you for your patience as we navigate this ongoing situation. So, okay, so it reached its duration, so they couldn't renew it. It's basically what that's saying. I mean, the thing is one thing I love about this community is there's always a way. There's always a way to like raise money, you know? Like there's always a way. And I'm sure whoever came up with this way to raise money is going to come up with an alternative to raise money. You know, it's this that's the beauty of a community like this. So I mean, it kind of sucks and it's a bummer, but I don't think it's really the scandal that I've been hearing that it's about, you know. I mean, I don't really think it's that, you know. It kind of sucks. It's a bummer that it's over, but I'm sure that something else will come up. You know, this community always finds a way. That's one thing I've watched happen, you know. Well, I mean, right. That's how that reads to me, Leah Baker, is they were super okay. They were totally okay with like raising money and keeping the profits that they made off of it until it ran out. And then we're like, all right, we're not going to renew it because that'll just, we could at least make it look like we didn't really know, because technically they're not violating our terms of service. So, okay. But I mean, my whole thing is just like, I mean, again, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it took this long. That's all. I'm surprised that the haters didn't. I mean, that it took them a year to make this happen, or maybe it didn't. Maybe again, they just let it. They let it play out for the duration of what time was given that they were going to be doing it, and then instead of being able to renew it, they couldn't renew it because of the complaints that they got. But I mean, I'm just surprised that it took this long. Right. And I went over that too, Microdots. I was thinking that too, buddy. It seems like they were like, that they didn't even really give a shit. Like I could have just I was going over the questionnaire. There wasn't much to it. I could just hit other and put the title of what it was and then just go. You know what I mean? So it's all good. I'm gonna try something new here, folks. All right. Let me see something. Which one is this? All right. Give me 1 second, folks. And we're going to come back and try something. Oh my God. You hear my stomach growling? I'm dieting again. Jesus. Did you guys hear that? That was crazy. that was crazy. Okay. Hold on. All right, shut up. Okay. I'm going to try to open a phone line. I've never done this before. But call that number. Let's see what happens. I've never tried this before this way. So I'm going to try to take calls. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But whatever. Okay. Let me see something. Yeah, I don't know. Is anybody trying to call it? I feel like somebody would be. But oh shit.
Call from Liz. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Call from Liz. Call from
Bill.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Bill.
Bill.
Phil.
Phil. All right. Can you turn me down in your background there?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this is way better. This is awesome.
Oh, cool.
So
my
what's
wife
up?
told me to call the number.
Okay, you're on the show. What's up?
I don't know. What are we talking about? I know Chris Loring.
Oh, do you?
I
Cool.
call him. He's Chris Loring's friend. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
He's a good musician. Very cool.
Yeah. I got to talk to him last night on a podcast. Yeah, it was great. I had a really good time, and I think actually, hold on, real quick. Let me do this. Okay. Here's the link to the podcast.
Oh, cool.
It's in the chat now. I don't know if you can click on it though. Doesn't look like you can click on it. Maybe if I try, hold on, let me try it this way. Okay, and then hold on. What happens if I click on it? All right. No, yeah, I got to talk to, yeah, there it is. Cool. So yeah, I got to talk to him last night on that podcast. And then yeah, he's a really cool dude. I enjoyed talking with him. So yeah, guys, make sure Chris Loring, for those of you who don't know, is the guy who plays the song, the Free Karen Reed song. And I was on this awesome podcast. And I had a really good time. I had a fantastic time.
Yeah, I didn't know he did a Free Karen Reed song, so that's pretty cool.
You didn't know that? Okay.
No. Well, we used to play in bands, and so we played it, in the same clubs and stuff, and it's mostly just playing and drinking, friends.
Okay. So Phil, I mean, have you followed the Karen Reed case at all, or your wife just told you, "Hey, call this number"? Call us.
My wife has a lot, but yeah, I mean, it's obvious.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously she's framed.
Okay.
I mean, how does that, the light get shattered all over that yard? It's crazy to think that anyone could convict her of any of this. But obviously he planted it,
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yes, it is, Phil. All right. Thanks for calling, man. I'm going to take the next caller.
All right, man.
All right.
Later.
Later. See ya. Phil, guys. Thanks, Phil. All right. So I'll wait for another call to come in. Sorry, this is my very first time using this. Oh, here we go.
Call from
Hey, this is Pete.
Pete, you're on.
Hey, so this is your first test run doing a call? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I got other calls coming in and I'm like, okay. Go ahead. Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, this is your first test run doing calls?
I've done calls, but another way. But this way is supposed to be better. This way you guys can hear. I can move my hands around. I can mute if I need to. Yeah, this is a new way that I'm doing calls, and I can hear with my headphones.
Right,
And everybody else can hear the same thing I'm hearing exactly.
I'm on the Bluetooth in the car moving around. How do I sound?
You sound great, at least to me. How does he
All
sound,
right.
guys? How does Pete sound?
How do I sound this evening?
He sounds amazing.
All right, just checking in, man. I'll get back and listen from here.
Just checking in, huh, Pete? Oh shit. Okay. No thoughts on anything we talked about, or okay. I guess Pete's gone.
call from
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
This is Sally.
Hi, Sally. That girl. What's going on?
Hey there. Yeah, I'm from the Boston area. Grew up in the town next to Canton.
Right on.
But yeah, I guess the jurors being hung on that second count. I guess I still can't understand how they came up with that conclusion. And it doesn't seem like anybody sort of is talking about that. It's, she was acquitted on the murder and obviously the third charge, but the second charge of manslaughter, and then there are sub charges. So I guess I'm kind of confused with what they went through, and just like there were three choices. So I didn't know if it was a DUI or was it a DUI with the manslaughter. So I don't know. I just with all the evidence, I guess I'm just still kind of baffled with that second charge.
My whole thing is I'm stuck on the reasonable doubt. Like, they're jurors.
Yeah.
How do they just dismiss the concept of reasonable doubt? There's no way.
Right.
Like the prosecution did not present a solid case in the slightest bit. So if we're just keeping it simple here, Occam's razor dictates that. Why are they dismissing reasonable doubt?
Yeah, it's basically saying, yep, she did it, but it was an accident. I mean, that's kind of what they...
But with nothing to back it up.
Right.
So
yeah.
With nothing that can't be, that isn't riddled with doubt already.
Right.
Like, physically, she could not have hit him with the car. Physically, she just couldn't have. There's so much.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the science and the physics, right? So even if you don't believe that, okay, well then how did the taillight get there? The methodology that was used or lack of from the police and nothing being documented. I mean, that in itself is like, causes that doubt. So I guess with the two attorneys on the jury and a former cop as the foreman, I mean, I guess I really, that's kind of blows me away. I would love to know what the rationale was with that second count, and kind of what drew them to that conclusion. But I don't know if we'll ever know. But anyways, I'll hang up so you can get your next caller. And thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for calling, Sally. I appreciate it. You broke the awkward tension. Excellent. Sally, y'all. I'm just waiting on another call. There we go. Nobody else wants to call? Totally muted. No, yeah, I'm not muted. Yeah, I'm still not sure if this is okay. Here we go.
Call from Sarah. To accept, press 1.
Sarah,
Hi.
what's up? You're on. How we doing?
No one else. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, no one else was calling, so I said, why the hell not?
I appreciate it.
No, I was going to actually ask you something. I wanted to know, because I've always just wondered it myself, like what was the first, like how did you get started doing YouTube? Like I know the background of why you like true crime and things like that, but how did you even start getting onto YouTube? Like, did you just start talking about any case, or was Karen Reed how you got into it?
No. I've been on YouTube for probably about going on 6 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I talked about a bunch of cases. But this case, and I actually talk about this quite a bit in that podcast. I'll keep dropping the link. But yeah, that podcast was called It's a Hard Rock Life.
Hard Rock Life?
Yeah. Yeah, when I started on YouTube, I started talking about, I think, the Chris Watts case. And what's really funny is it seems that Canceled Karen has been making her waves in Facebook about this case. And I actually started off with her. I didn't know anything about her. But she wanted to try out having like a male counterpart, and she met me in a Chris Watts Facebook group. And then yeah, and she actually bought me my first mic. That's actually a fact. It was a little shitty snowball thing, but but I mean, she bought it for, to benefit herself, because again, she wanted like a male, someone to bounce off of who is a male on her show.
So she has the most annoying voice. I don't know how you would have. I mean, I can't really talk, but because I'm from Jersey, but
her
I can't
voice,
really say anything.
Her voice didn't annoy me until I started like realizing what type of a person she was. Yeah, don't get yaxed. But yeah, that's and then I just kind of just veered off and started doing my own thing. And talked about just various cases, whatever took an interest that like grabbed my interest, and then I would discuss it, whatever. I think I've gone over 4 trials, at least 4 trials I've covered.
And my other, I want to ask you as well, did you ever think of getting like a Discord or anything, like actually expanding into other networks? Because I felt like you don't do anything on TikTok. You don't even post like your clips.
Yeah, you're right. I am the worst at, hold on, this is going to sound better. Okay, that's going to sound better for you. I am the worst at promoting myself. I'm the absolute worst.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it. But so like I have a TikTok, but I never post anything on TikTok. And I have a Discord, but I'm not active really in it. It's for members. So if like you're a member, you guys can interact with each other. And very, very rarely will I pop in there and start, chatting with people. But yeah, there's a Discord. Sherry's pretty active in it. She basically runs it. But yeah, I'm just really bad at promoting myself. I I have my Instagram and that's kind of growing a little bit, but I don't post a lot on there either.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I could talk forever, but I will shut up now. And thank you so much for your show. I'm having a horrible day, so I appreciate.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I hate that you're having a
you.
horrible day, but I'm glad that we could make it better. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see if another call comes through.
Call from Kelly.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Kelly. I was in the chat.
Oh, hey, Kelly.
So I'm in law school in Boston, and I was talking about two of my professors who told me they thought that Karen Reed was guilty of manslaughter. I was shocked when they told me that.
Wow.
And I mean, I kind of asked why. And my one professor was just like, oh, I just think she was shit-faced and didn't remember it. I didn't have the balls to be like, but what about this and what about that? But in my head, I'm like thinking like, I feel smarter than you. Like, how is this possible?
Yeah, that's what I feel like when I watch court TV and those so-called experts. I'm always just like, what? Like, this can't be. This can't be real.
But apparently you can, I guess.
Oh, it's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah. I just wanted to call in because someone had asked what my professors had said, and I didn't feel like typing it all out. So I just thought I'd call in.
Okay, well, I'm glad you called. Hey, did you have a prosthetic baby collection as a child?
No, but why was that a question? I think I missed it.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next caller, please. Discord is like a site for like, okay, hold on.
Call from
Cheryl.
What's up, Cheryl? You're on.
Hey, how you doing, Will?
I'm doing fantastic, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good. You know what I want to know?
What do you want to know?
I want to know. I'm the one that handed you that pre-roll when your first morning. When
Oh,
you came to
shit.
Dedham.
Okay, what's up,
I want to
Cheryl?
know if you liked it.
I sure as hell did.
Good, good. That's really all I wanted to know. I never called into anyone before.
Oh,
and
that was very sweet of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, I look forward to that as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Hey, Cheryl.
What?
Did you have a prosthetic child collection as a child?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Bye.
You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Everybody there was so cool. They were so cool. Everybody is amazing. Yeah, no, she was so fucking nice, man. Everybody was so nice. So much fun.
Call from Mizzy.
You're on. Who am I speaking with?
It's Mizzy.
Mizzy. What's up, Mizzy?
From the Justice for Sandra Birchmore page.
Oh, hey, what's up?
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I figured I'd give you a call since you were doing this.
Oh, I'm glad you did. That's great. It's great to finally talk to you.
You too.
Right on. Yeah. So definitely we're gonna get more in touch with each other on Sandra's case, because there's a lot I want to know. And obviously I think that it's going to be really important to spread the information of Sandra Birchmore's case. If what we're doing here is exposing the corruption in Norfolk County, right?
Definitely.
So
Definitely. I agree. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Just so everybody knows, we have a standout tomorrow for her in Stoughton at 2:00. So if anybody is in the Boston or Massachusetts area, please come, because we have cameras coming from like Banfield. And so.
Oh, from Ashley Banfield?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay. So News Nation's going to cover it. Right on.
Yep. So we need as many people as we can get there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's great. And so where's this going to be?
At the Stoughton Town Center, but if you Google, when you put on GPS the Stoughton Town Hall, that'll take you right where you need to be.
Okay, so the Stoughton Town Hall.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, cool.
And I appreciate you talking about Sandra's case. I know you haven't touched on it a lot, but even the little bit of you've been talking about it helps.
Well,
And,
I'm concerned. I mean, I'm really concerned about it, because like the thing that we need to keep in mind is that these victims get justice. And especially if there are people, if there's connections, if there's shady shit going on with the Sandra Birchmore case, and then there's people who did shady shit in the Sandra Birchmore case who we believe did shady shit in the Karen Reed case, well, then people need to know about it.
Exactly.
This is a serious issue taking place in that area. This is not just about Karen Reed or Turtle Boy.
Yeah.
This is about exposing the corruption there. And so that the people who live there locally feel good about where they live. They feel safe.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. And Sandra's case came before both of their cases, so it shows that it was definitely before Karen Reed, and Lord only knows what happened before both of these cases. It's showing a pattern of practice in the Norfolk County, and it shows that the Norfolk County DA, Michael Morrissey, doesn't have a problem with these cases being covered up, and that needs to be rooted out and stopped by the people.
Agreed.
So
agreed. 100%.
I just wanted to call because you were doing this, and I was like, hey, let me try. So, but I'm in contact with Cherry, so she knows how to get in touch with me. So whenever you're ready to talk and dig into her case, just let me know.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I definitely plan on doing that. I just I want to get through these at least get through this this next hearing that's on Monday. And because if I multitask, you know what I mean? Like
I understand.
Right. I'm terrible at that. So but yeah.
That's why I can't go to a lot of stuff anyway, but that's why I've been like, I pay attention to everything Karen Reed. I'm like on the outskirts. I watch everything. I watch all the creators. I watch all the hearings. I watch the whole trial, but I can't do too much. I got to focus on, Sandra, because she needs it, so, and we're building something now. So.
Right. Yeah, no. And it's finally getting attention. And exactly. What I'd like to do is set up a live stream with you on it and other special guests. I just have to plan it.
Okay.
But again, I have to educate myself a little bit more on the case before I set that up. But I believe it's gonna help garner a lot more attention, hopefully. But yeah, I'm very, very I'm very interested to see what I'm interested to see where this can go, because you know, her case being ruled a homicide by that pathologist changes a lot, and it's a big step
Yeah, it
forward.
does.
So
Yep, it's changed a lot on my end of just getting her story out there. Like, so much opened up, and our foot is on the gas, and we're not letting up. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And so, yeah, so thank you for everything that you've been doing. I mean, you've been just relentless and focused on this, hoping for a break for this to get more public, and you've been getting, rightfully so, interviews on local news stations and whatnot, and now
Yeah.
you've got the attention of News Nation coming out to check to show the standout, and I
Yeah.
think that's great. I've
Thank
talked
you.
I've talked bad about Ashley Banfield because there's other cases where I'm just like, oh, but I'm glad that she's using her platform to bring attention into Sandra's case. I'm glad she's doing that. It's really important.
That's okay. You know, we don't have to agree with how certain commentators or hosts, you know,
Yeah.
cover other cases and certain things. Like, I know how you feel about Court TV, but I went on Vinny because they invited me on to talk about
Yeah.
this. When it dropped, I was like, I can't. But I didn't go on the other show.
Well,
the
that's
morning
not
show.
yeah, I don't take issue with people going on Court TV. I take issue with the fact that Court TV just doesn't seem to vet who they bring on.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
get that.
but someone in your position who has been fighting the Sandra Birchmore fight relentlessly, even when there's times where it probably seems like it's just you, you know, you're going to go on a show like Court TV to bring some more attention to it. Why would you not do that? Of course you're going to do that, and that's the
I
best thing
chose
that you
Vinny,
can do.
but I didn't. Exactly, but I chose Vinny. I didn't chose the morning host because I felt like
Oh,
that
you
it
got
would
to
be a
choose?
spit in the face. No, I was invited on both. I was invited on
Oh.
Vinny's show when it first dropped about Dr. Bodden, and then I was invited just for last week to go on the other show, and I chose not to do it because I didn't want to. You know, there's a lot of crossover people who protest and come to stand up for both Karen Reed and Sandra, and I felt it would be a spit in the face of those people who come, who support me and support Sandra. I didn't want to disrespect them because she said a lot of things about a lot of, you know, people who are coming to the standouts. So I chose not to do the show. I had to take a stand somewhere.
So while I've got you on here,
Mm-hmm.
how did you get so interested in the Sandra Birchmore case?
Well, I saw the news. When the report for her case dropped. I saw it on the news and I got very angry. But I'm a small creator myself, and I was like in the middle of two cases, and I was, you know, editing something, so I couldn't look at her case. And then my friend, who was actually first case I covered, she asked me, what about that Sandra Birchmore case? And I was like, how do you know about Sandra Birchmore? Because she lives in North Carolina. And she had just interviewed with the guys from the Case podcast. And so I said, her and I just started digging into Sandra's case for like 2 or 3 weeks together. And then we said, you know, she said to me, I have to get back to covering my son Brandon's case. His name's Brandon Embry, if anybody wants to look up his case. I have to cover my son Brandon's case, get back on him, because she's trying to solve his murder. Get back on his case. Can you do a Facebook page for Sandra? And I was like, oh man, you know. And then I just said, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'll do it. And she decided to do the change.org page because she can do that easily while she's, you know, doing her son's case. And I have been running her case ever since, you know. So
That's awesome. That's amazing.
yeah. So it's been a little over 1.5 years that the page has been up, and we've just been trying to get as many people involved and get as many eyes on Sandra's case. And I feel like right now we're the momentum's starting to work.
Yeah, it is. And it's really a one hand washes the other kind of thing. Like, the attention on Karen Reed is getting people to go, well, what if there is a conspiracy? And then they're doing a little digging. And I mean, I know even another friend of mine who's a creator, I told her about the connection between Sandra Birchmore, and she independently did the Sandra covered Sandra Birchmore. And then
Yeah, I think I saw her. Yep.
yeah,
Or listened to it.
and then I told her about the connection, and then she was like, no fucking way. And then I think she did a follow-up, but I hadn't heard it yet. But yeah, I mean, it's like all it takes is to get people with common sense to hear the connection and go, oh shit, hold on. Yeah, this is not because you're gonna ask, like, what would be the motive besides the obvious of this happening and anybody covering it up, and then right, and then you look at the Karen Reed case and see these familiar names, you're gonna go, oh, okay, well, I'm listening,
It's Michael Morrissey has a bad habit of covering up for dirty cops.
It sure seems that way.
Both cases. That's a major theme of both cases. Both cases have, Brian Albert and Karen Reed and the three, Matthew Farrell, William Farrell, and Robert Devine on Sandra's case. So, it's dirty cops.
God, so crazy.
Crazy.
It's
It is.
right. Like, unless you show people receipts, they're just gonna be like, I don't believe you. You sound like a crazy person.
In both cases, in both cases, like, as you tell them the story, like, I was just listening to my mom a few minutes ago trying to tell my brother about it, and I was giggling because it was like it sounded, the more she was telling him, the more insane the story sounded. And both cases are like that. Like, when you sit and try to tell somebody about the Karen Reed case, you sound like a crazy person telling the story. The same thing with Sandra's case. You saw what three cops, were grooming a girl, and all this craziness happened, and she killed herself. But wait a minute, she didn't kill herself. She was murdered. Like, it sounds crazy. You sound crazy when you say
right
stories.
Totally. It's completely insane. And then you watch the video, even when you think about it, you watch the video where Sandra is she's got the broom or whatever, and then definitely not acting like somebody who's about to commit suicide. And then you have you see this man show up with a mask and a hood, and clearly, but that's the thing, is like, well, it's cold, but it seems like he's definitely doing everything he can to hide his face. But then somebody could also argue, well, no, he's not. He's just cold. How do you know that? You know what I mean? So unless you start to really dig deep, just like with the Karen Reed case, unless you start to actually look at certain things that seem shady and add them together, you're going to give a cop the benefit of the doubt, unless, of course, but you're not going to give these cops the benefit of the doubt. And if you got any brains, because there's a clear motive there with the wife having the baby, her being pregnant, the grooming and the abuse that took place between him and his twin brother. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
And it all started with this other cop that was like, who used to be the deputy chief, but who was demoted because he had another sex scandal. It's like, what? Who are these people? Like, in both cases, the more we sit here and tell it, and for anybody who doesn't know about the Sandra Birchmore case, they're probably like, what the hell are they talking about? Because it just sounds absolutely insane.
Right. Yeah. Like, because you're talking about conspiracies, and then, you hear that word, and then immediately it's very easy to just dismiss whatever you're hearing, or start to side-eye it to the very least. You're just going to side-eye it because you hear the word conspiracy. You're just like, okay, is this person a nut talking to me right now? Immediately. It's a reaction that you get.
The only good thing in Sandra's case that doesn't happen in Karen's case is that it's Stoughton PD who did the investigation behind what these guys were up to, and they're the ones saying they groomed Sandra. Their own police department says this. So, but once you get into the death portion, it's like, what? So one of them murdered her, and that's where it gets really crazy, you know. But their police department said these men did this. That's
I mean,
crazy too.
yeah. See, because that's what I want to see. Like, if there's ever like finally a documentary made about this, I hope it's like some huge, dope Netflix award-winning documentary maker that is ready to make a series that connects the Sandra Birchmore case, the Karen Reed case, and the Turtle Boy case all together. I mean, you have to tell all three stories to give people an understanding of what the fuck is going on in Massachusetts. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
specifically Norfolk County.
To do that properly, you need a miniseries. You need like a 10-part miniseries. It's insane.
Yeah. Because they would each need their own parts, and then like the whole part to connect them all.
Right.
It's like I've been wanting to make a murder board for Sandra, and I'm like, how do I start with this? I don't know where to start. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do because there's so many like things that go off.
I'm waiting on a very dumbed down. I'm waiting on a social media version of Sandra Birchmore case for dummies laid out in a spreadsheet that I can look at, because otherwise my brain's going to be all over the place because I can't organize. I'm terrible like that.
Well, we're currently working on a timeline that we can just put out so people can get the cliff notes of her case. So it's a little easier for people who don't know anything about the case can jump into it.
Right on. Yeah. Like it's wild. Like I man, again, kudos to you for taking on this case and spreading the information that you have been. And I definitely look forward to having you on again and having a nice in-depth discussion on this case.
Definitely. So I appreciate you talking to me for so long. Everybody come to the standout if you're available, and have a good night, Will.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye.
Good night. Bye. All right, folks. That's going to be it for that. Okay, so now this is how we do call-ins. I'm excited. I don't have to use some burner app. It's great. But guys, you are absolutely fantastic. I am going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for everything. Make sure to hit the like if you haven't already on your way out. All you new subscribers, I appreciate you. And all the support. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.